Are Marauder Chariots good lawnmowers in Tides of Torment? When your opponent uses Grass Affinity, get out the blades and start mowing. Treat infantry as blades of grass. This won't work with treemen. These chariots are low tier and specialized at one job, and I'm here to tell you they're fine at it. When the enemy brings infantry, chariots mow them down. The rest is about the details and the Regiment of Renown for variety. I am reusing the tooltip from the Chaos Chariot video because the essence of chariots hasn't changed, but this one has some differences that work in its favor. Recruited for 750 gold and 188 upkeep, on Ultra Scale this gets you 4 chariots with 5,688 health between them, which isn't flimsy. Armor 90 isn't flimsy either, though it is below the Chaos Chariots 110. Leadership 70 is better than your frontline troops in the Norscan roster. Speed 78 and Charge Speed 108 are orthodox in a relatively unorthodox faction. Melee attack begins at the paltry 22. Attack interval of 4 seconds is no worse than standard, unlike certain cavalry and spearmen. Melee splash target size is very large, so there's not much besides single entities they won't splash through. And max targets damage by splash 3. This is in pitched combat. Charges use a different metric. Melee defense begins at 28. These aren't high elves, so 28 is decent enough. Weapon strength of 40 is split base 29 and armor piercing 11, which definitely doesn't feel impressive and places a lot of chips on having enemy armor not reduce this to near nothing. The bonus versus infantry of 18 is decent enough and means melee attack 40 in pitched combat from rank 0 up and weapon strength 58, heavily tilted toward base damage, so they'll work over flagellants a lot more than great swords. Charge bonus is 76, which is highly respectable, and mass is 1500, around what we'd expect. They can hide in forest, and the only other special sauce is Rage, which we did not see with the Chaos Chariots. Therefore, they will heat up with prolonged melee contact, maxing out at leadership plus 8, melee attack plus 5, and physical resistance plus 10% after 100 seconds of melee. Given that this is armor 90 and not 15, Rage is quite nice here. I have not previously covered the Regiment of Renown, followers of the Great Eagle. Recruited for 1000 gold and 250 upkeep, or like a lot of factions, lores, and heroes of standard variety, on Ultra you get 4 chariots for 5,584 health, or 104 less, but they have 800 barrier hit points, which is pretty good relative to health. Armor is 90 again, leadership 80 in their rank 9 state, speed 78 and charge speed 108 are standard. Melee attack 29 is 7 better at the rank 9 state, but here's where it gets really interesting. Their attacks are flaming, magical, and inflict warp flame for minus 10 armor and plus 10% fire weakness for 10 seconds per bob. This will combine with kindle flame and other means of increasing all-out fire dominance. Splash stats are unchanged. Melee defense is 36 without further boosts. Weapon strength looks the same at 40, but the split is flipped. It's now base 11 and armor piercing 29, and that gets my attention. This means it'll show Jade Warriors and Greatswords no respect at all. Bonus versus infantry of 18 is unchanged, and neither is the pretty nice charge bonus 76 and mass 1500. This unit has the Barrier Boost passive. When any spell is cast, 60-second cooldown. It provides 10 seconds of barrier replenishment plus 4% per second to your side. We've seen with Marauder Chieftains that entire armies can get barrier in Norsca, so consider this unit perfect for such armies. In the redline skills, 3 pips in Unnatural Selection, also used by Hounds and Kurgan Horsemen, gives speed plus 12% and charge bonus plus 12 flat. The latter taking us from 76 to 88. Icy Wrath grants rank 7 and up chariots melee attack plus 5, weapon strength plus 12%, and charge bonus plus 12 flat again, so we get to an even 100. Very strong stuff. In the tech tree, Chaos Surge gives its usual plus 1 recruit rank and plus 4 leadership to Marauder units. Crafter's Barding is specific to chariots for unit mass plus 20% for beefier charges, and charge bonus plus 10%. The percentile boost means that the redline skills are absolutely rewarded. Champions of War gives replenishment plus 5%, and if rank 7 or above, physical resistance 10% full time, plus whatever you got from Rage or other sources. Destruction of Bretonia will give plus 10% speed to chariots faction-wide, and charge bonus plus 10%. And here we mention Wolfred's special sauce. If he is your legendary lord, chariots will do plus 15 charge bonus flat, meaning a max of 115 before the 10% boost from the tech tree. If in his army with Juggernaut of the Sarl, they'll even get bonus versus large plus 12, but that's not how they expect to rack up the kills. With all that said, how do we use Marauder Chariots? This isn't a complicated unit to use. Unfortunately, even besides single entity monsters and so forth, it does have trouble chewing through a high mass unit of source warriors, let alone braced spears, relative to, say, skinks. The tech tree boost and any redline help really does provide useful support. It's just to say, they overperform against low-end infantry and underperform the higher tier you get. That's the nature of the unit, recruited from no more than the tier 2 cavalry building, a pretty cheap building, and quick to set up. Availability is a large part of this unit's charm faction-wide. So when you're facing Empire stacks with 7+ cavalry units and an infantry corps, well, it becomes a challenge to get this unit into the fray and doing exactly what it pleases. Having said that, it's also much faster than infantry blobs, completely dominates low armor archer style units like peasant archers and peasant bowmen, instantly pastes handgunners and crossbowmen if able to get to them, and, consistent where we started, generally mows infantry nicely. So, despite the limitations, it's entirely adequate at its main job. It quietly has armor 90, and rage means it'll hit harder and resist non-magical damage better late into the fight. Even generally, its synergy with lore fire and stuff like that is good. The RoR is one of the more ideal dryad mulchers in the entire game, it looks like. Obviously, you want to keep an eye out for its weaknesses, but the raw efficiency at its one job is hard to beat. It's gifted at punishing the enemy for not protecting its backline. And just so we're clear, melee attack 29 and charge bonus 110 would mean melee attack 139 for the initial blows, with weapon strength 150 split heavily toward base. Against infantry, that would be melee attack 157 before decay begins, and weapon strength 168. Yeah, you're plowing through multiple entities doing this if it's against infantry. That's how a rank 9 chariot can do substantial damage even to Chaos Warriors. Clan rats won't stand a mouse of a chance. One of my biggest regrets in my Sail campaign that went for 130 turns was that I didn't get chariots early because Chaos Dwarfs, Zayden the Black specifically, there's a lot of laborers to go through. And you can't get Kurgan horsemen until you have a tier 3 settlement and a tier 3 cavalry building, but tier 2 cavalry and you can get chariots. And Chaos Dwarfs don't really have classical anti-large. They can shoot them, but they can't pretend to be halberdiers against them very well. So chariots are very good in that matchup, and it'll just depend who you're facing and what circumstances. Take care, and have fun getting infantry off your lawn.